One of the common issues that companies run into when creating 3D models for their designs is how to handle components that would take a different shape or size. In the case of a spring, that would be when the spring is either compressed or stretched. When it is placed in the assembly model, the size of the spring needs to adjust to the form it would take when it is in the installed state. O-rings are another good example. An O-ring is a circular part when you buy it from the supplier, but you might stretch it around a non-circular shape, and that O-ring will take shape of the groove that you're trying to put it in. With the spring, it's usually compression or stretching of the spring, and that's the case that we're gonna look at here. We've got a spring model representing the free state spring, and we can see here that it does not have a deformable feature. We also have another model that has a deformable feature that allows for that manipulation we are looking to show in the assembly model. So if we look at that assembly, we've got two springs in it. Looking at the assembly navigator, we see the free state spring, which is the one at the 12 o'clock position, and the one with the deformable feature at the 9 o'clock position. The deformable spring is set to the free state height. So both springs are the same size and both interfere with the shoulder bolt in the model. We will fix the one at the 9 o'clock position by editing the deformable feature. Looking at the part history, we see a deformable feature has been added to the assembly itself. And then above that, there's a measure that I had created prior to creating the video. That measurement goes from the bottom of the shoulder bolt head to the bottom of the pocket. The value of that measurement will drive the spring size when it's in the installed state. To change the height of the spring, we need to edit the feature. In the installed height area of the window, we can see it is set to 6. We want to set it to the measured value. When I start to type installed height, which is the name I gave to the measured expression, we can see it populates in the drop-down area. I'll go ahead and select that, and I'll hit OK. Now we can see that the spring at 9 o'clock has changed its size, and it's no longer interfering with the shoulder bolt. The spring at 12 o'clock has done nothing because it doesn't have a deformable feature associated with it. If we go back and look at the dialog box now, we can see that that's set to 3.625 millimeters long, which was the measured value. Let's say we're evaluating the design of this, and we decide that we need to have a little less spring force between those two components. We could go and either source another spring, or we could drive that pocket a little bit deeper to remove some of the potential energy that this spring is holding. We will choose that method by going in and modifying the depth of the counter bore by adding a millimeter to its depth. To do that, I'll change the depth of the counter bore from 4 to 5, then click OK. NX will process the changes, and then, if we go back and look at the assembly, we can see that the 9 o'clock spring has changed its size to match the new value of the measurement. If we go into the deformable feature and look at the parameters, we can see it's now 4.625 when before it was only 3.625. NX handles the math based on the measurement and recomputes the spring height just by modifying geometry of the other parts. It's a really great tool to show these type of components in your assembly as they would be as installed, and then also have the model in the free state for producing drawings. We cover this in our class, not only how to use them, but how to set them up to be used. So if you're interested in learning how to configure and use deformable components in your day-to-day operations, be sure to sign up for our NX Basics training course where we cover this topic and many others.